Let's bring in Anita Kumar. She's a White House correspondent for McClatchy, and she's joining us now from Washington. We're going to break this all down. Anita, we heard earlier Mitch McConnell say that President Trump intends to sign the same repeal-only bill that President Obama vetoed back in 2015. But what are the chances that Republicans can even get that bill passed?
You know, it's really unclear. Just as we are talking right now, already two Republican senators have said they would not be for that repeal-only bill. A third is saying that he has some concerns. So it'd be really unlikely, I think, at this point that they would get a repeal-only bill. You know, you got to remember back in 2015, they knew President Obama was going to veto that bill. So the pressure was off a little bit. With this one, we know President Trump would sign it if it got to his desk.
So McConnell also says that the repeal vote would be followed by what he calls stable two-year transition period, a stable two-year transition period. But what might those 2 years actually look like for Republicans? Is the expectation that they will gain more supporters, or possibly they could lose support?
Well, there's a couple things happening. First, that transition period, obviously there'd be elections during that time, and they would be able to say to the Republican base, look, we did what we said we would do. We repealed Obamacare. And so that would be a win for them. Now, Senator McConnell also said that he's going to start working on a bipartisan replacement bill. So they'd start over with Democrats. That is very, very unlikely at this point. We just heard Chuck Schumer say that he would like to do that, but the possibility of the two sides working together on something they could come up with is pretty unlikely.
And some Republicans are suggesting that Democrats should now be involved in the health care reform process. What are you going to be watching for from that front?
Well, I mean, we'll see if that happens. As you know, in recent years, Democrats and Republicans say they want to do that, and then it doesn't often happen. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if Senator McConnell actually does include Democrats and where that goes. I mean, it probably will not go very far, but the question is, will he reach out to them in the first place? They will be quite angry about this repeal bill if it goes through, or even the attempt to repeal. And so I'm not sure how willing they will be to work with Republicans.
So, Anita, let's look back at this entire health care push, how it unfolded and its failure. And what does that say about the ability of the GOP in a Congress that they control, the ability that they may have in terms of moving forward on other tough legislation like tax reform or maybe the budget?
Right. I mean, they have the same problem that they have always had. They have different factions of the Republican Party that just don't agree. But also, their other big problem, of course, is the Senate has a very slim majority. The Republicans have a very slim majority in the Senate, and it makes it so difficult to get things done. Now, I talked to some folks this morning that are very close to President Trump who were disappointed that the White House wasn't more involved. This is a president who said he was a deal maker, and yet we saw both with the House bill and the Senate bill that he was involved. The vice president was involved, but they kind of left the negotiating up to Senator McConnell. And you know, you will look in the future to see if they will get more involved, because this hurts President Trump if they don't get anything done.
And before we let you go, Anita, I want to ask you about a tweet the president sent out this morning in which he wrote, quote, "The Senate must go to a 51-vote majority instead of current 60 votes. Even parts of a full repeal need 68 Dems control the Senate. Crazy." This isn't the first time that we've heard Mr. Trump propose that change. I mean, it sounds great when your party's in power. What do you make of it?
Well, you're right. He has said it before. Every time there's a failure, he says it again. The bottom line, though, is they can't even get enough votes. They can't get 51 votes. They can't get all the Republicans. And so while he says that, I understand that he's saying that, but they need all Republicans to stand in line, too, and they don't have that. I also don't know that the Senate would do that. There's long traditions in the Senate, and President Trump coming in isn't going to change them.
Anita Kumar of McClatchy. Thanks a lot, Anita.
Sure. Thank you.